I'm Allie. Thanks for joining today for Mr. Picasso. He was born in Spain in 1881 and lived until 1973. The artist card has some great information about him, but his father was an artist, so he was introduced to art at a young age and did a lot of sketching, and he got really good at the human figure when he was a teenager, and then just began to experiment with colors and angles. He went through, you can get this, so I'll have a link to this, but just kind of shows a quick progression. I mean, he's got thousands of paintings, and I just chose 6, and they're all portraits to show just kind of his progression. But he took a lot of guidance from geometric shapes used by Cezanne, and so then he rearranged the human form into these series of sharp angles and planes. And this style of painting ushered in a movement called Cubism, which broke the human figure down into these geometric fragments, kind of like you're looking in a mirror, at different angles, but all at one time. So that's what today's lesson is going to be focusing on. We're doing a portrait, and these are all dated starting from 1895, and we go to 1941, and you can just see how he's experimenting with shapes and colors. And so let's get started. For today's lesson, you're gonna need some cardstock. You could use a Sharpie. You could use whatever size Sharpie. None of my other ones are working really well, but this one's a new one. You could use a black pen. You could use a black crayon to do the first step. Then from there, we're adding color. I'm going to be using oil pastels. You could use markers or crayons. So use whatever medium you have. All right, so let's get started. Here are some different samples. We're gonna add color to it, but this is where you can choose to use a marker, pen, black crayon, just to get our first step done. He also did a lot of black and just line drawing. So this, you could again just leave it like this. But we're gonna have fun doing some crazy portraits. So if you wanna use, this is manila paper I had left over, you could use that. Use what you have on hand. But we're going to start with drawing a large circle or oval or egg shape. There's no rules to this. Let's look at this. She almost looks like she's got 2 heads there. So you can print this out, use that to look at. So let's draw our head shape. I chose it to look more like a bean, but do you see? This one's more like an egg shape. This one's more like a traditional oval for a head. There's no wrong way. So whatever's on your paper, rock with it. All right, now we're gonna divide the face in half. So we're gonna start from the top. We're gonna come down, jet out to represent the nose, come back over and curve it on down to the bottom, okay? Now we're going to draw 2 eyes, geometric shapes to kind of represent the eye. We could just do a circle and a dot. We could do a eye open over here. Looks more like traditional, so a rainbow up, and then curve it down. You could have it closed. We could do it, just put the eyelashes on it, and it looks like that the eye is closed. So look at some of his and see if you'd like to replicate something like that. This eye's turning sideways. All right, now we're going to we can do part of the mouth. You could have the mouth just on one side, like so. All right, so there's our face. Let's connect our face down to the bottom. No rules on how you connect it. I'll make this one straight, like so. Do you see some of my other ones? That one's similar. This one I just went straight down like so, because we're gonna be adding the color in there. So if this is for a low, like level 1, then maybe you just kind of, you know, add a few more details. If you're like on level 2, then you could divide this up even more. So let's do some hair. We need to put some hair. So let's see, we can do some triangle hair on this side. Oh, that looks nice, very fun. And maybe I'm gonna connect for this point and come around and give a nice little flip on that side. All right, so you could stop right here and start adding the color, or if you want to add in a few more details, you can do that. Just be aware of how much time you have. So, however your cubism portraits played out, then now it's time to add color. Crayons, markers. I'm gonna use oil pastel. I love the impact that the color has. It's just nice, and it's like paint in a stick is what I feel like it is. Now, first I would say color your figure. If there's time, then you could do the background, but get this taken care of first, and then you could go back and do the background. See how he's got, this is solid, then he's got, later he started putting more pattern and stuff in the background. But right now, we're just gonna concentrate on the portrait that you did. All right, so let's get going. Now, remember to sign your artwork. Just kind of toss it in the bottom somewhere. Now, the more you divide up with like your black marker or crayon, then the more times you're changing colors, and so that could take a little bit more time. If you needed to do a half sheet, then that would be a quick way for you to experiment with it and to be able to practice and to complete it quicker. Use your guide and kind of, or these sample works, and kind of look and think about, well, maybe what's one thing I could pull out and put into my work. So when I was coloring mine, I looked here and how she's kind of got blush, but I chose to do it in the yellow, kind of how it was running down her face there. So have fun with Mr. Picasso in your fun, crazy, happy portraits.